There. My name is Heather Feather. I am the owner of Rare Bird Medicine, and today's topic is the spread. There is a spread. There is a spectrum. There is a wide variety of colors of skin, cultural identifications, sexual identifications, brain functionality, neurodivergence. There is a spread in life of ways of being. Now, many people will follow a spiritual text and say, like, let's say the Bible, for example, and say, like, it says men shouldn't lay together, so therefore you can only be heteronormative, right? And I am not a scholar of the Bible, but what I do understand from those that do study the Bible is it says a man should not lay with a boy. I don't recommend having sex with children either. I think that's good advice for us all to follow. Don't have sex with children, everybody. Take notes, But when we interpret things such that they confirm our biases, and that is a bias of individual ways of being, there's a spread of gender. There's always been a spread of gender. There is male and there is female. And so a lot of people will argue today, there's a binary, it's male and it's female. But there's something that used to be called hermaphrodite, which is now a biased term, which is currently called intersexed. And intersexed is where you have female and male genitals. And in the 50s and the 40s and the 50s, when you had an intersex child born, you can trust that the doctor, the authority, the law and the word on what is your health was not going to tell you that you had a child born with both genders. They would just choose a gender for the child and tell you had a healthy girl or a healthy boy, and they would make whatever modifications necessary regarding their gender and then hand you the baby. And so, it was really common to just be like, identify this child this way. So we see a lot of people in the modern age that identify as trans. And I think it is starting to bring awareness. Anytime we get into a strong bias and ignorance in this world, we will have those born forth into the realm to help awaken us to reality. So the reality is there's always been male, female, and intersexed. And as far as sexual identification goes, many natives identify that there are two spirits. I identify myself as a two-spirit. I feel I have equal masculine and feminine principle in my vessel, and I feel comfortable with that. And there are a lot of people who feel very uncomfortable with that, but I feel comfortable with having the masculine principles to strategize, to get done, to act in the life, to be outward, as well as the feminine principle to be receptive, to take in. And it really does at times feel like there are two distinct principles present in me. And I can even identify in my dress in both ways because I feel almost as if there's two beings in there. And so, the challenge with needing things to always be dualistic is that Earth School itself is dualistic. We're in a dualistic realm. We're in a dichotomy, right? So it's up, down, good, bad, right, wrong. And so because we're in a dichotomy, your brain and your beliefs will naturally want to fit things into the dichotomy, into the dualistic system. There's male and female. There's, gay or heteronormative or whatever, And it's like, no, there's pansexual, there's asexual, there's bisexual, there's all different forms of sexuality. I identify as pansexual. I always call that gender blind. Where are your genitals? But to me, it means I'm not attracted based on your genitals or based on your body or based on the world of form. I am attracted based on your intellect, based on your spirit, based on the heart of the matter, based on how you show up and who you choose to be. And I can find physical attraction. I find humanity to be beautiful, stunning, gorgeous, amazing, handsome, guapo, que linda, bonita, beautiful humanity. So lovely, What a beautiful humanity we have everywhere you look. My sister taught me that. She's just like, look around, cute, cute, cute. And it's true, cute. Look at these cute people out here, right? But this is the smallest of all the things you can hand to me. So it's being attractive is such a paltry sum of what you can hand me. What is your mind doing? What are your thoughts like? What is it like to converse with you? What does it feel like to be around you, to receive you? What does it feel like? That's where real layers of attraction come in for me. And that's where a greater sense of vulnerability and intimacy can be present for me. is when it feels good, feels safe, feels interesting to be around a person, And that's where attraction really develops for me. So there is a spread of sexuality, there is a spread of gender, and there is a spread of neurodivergence. And I have yet to get the official test done for my neurodivergence. I'm still dealing with a car accident and cybercrime and vet bills, and I've been graced with a lot of donations and support and travels back and forth to Texas. So I'm buttoning up things in my life that are just the way life happens sometimes. You just sometimes have to deal with life. Ultimately, I'll go and get an official test done, but every test I've taken on neurodivergence, it's like, yeah, there's a 100% likelihood you have it. And as I watch videos on neurodivergence, everything I hear, I'm like, yes, I feel like this is explaining my life to me. And there's certain moments in life where that just kind of happens. The shamanic path, when I stepped on it, there were all these things. I was like, this is my belief system. I'm animistic. Like this, yes, this is what I've been saying. And so the identification of being neurodivergent is a spread. It is a spectrum. And every autistic, Asperger's, neurodivergent person is distinct in the way their brain is distinct. There are things that can be common amongst neurodivergent people, like stimming. And most people think of stimming with autism as doing something like this. But I gotta tell you, humans, if you are sitting in your rigid body, typing and doing the things you're doing, and you're not doing this and shaking your body like your neurodivergent friends, give it a shot. Give it a shot. It's actually modern day somatic therapy, and it's an embodiment practice that can actually bring you into shaking trauma off of the body. The thing with being neurodivergent is that you actually receive a tremendous amount, more than the average bear. And with receiving all that, stimming is where you need to move some of the energy, transmute or shift the energy that you're receiving. The physical world that you're looking at, the cognitive presence of the conversations that are occurring, and the emotions that are present, and the layers of the spiritual experiences that are present. And so I've often, when people are talking to me, my hand is often by my side doing this. I just flick my thumb. That is a form of stimming. Many people that stim, that are neurodivergent, have been conditioned out of it because their siblings are like, stop being weird with your hands or whatever, and so they get conditioned out of it. Women typically do not get diagnosed with autism or neurodivergence until much later in life. Actually, most of the tests for neurodivergence were written for white males. So if you're BIPOC, Black, Indigenous, people of color, or if you are a female, it's a lot less likely that the quality of being neurodivergent was even a consideration for being a truth for you until the modern age. And so many, many women are not getting diagnosed as being neurodivergent until much, much later in life, like myself, who's nearly 50. And so, neurodivergence can cause you to stim. It can cause you to mask. Masking is something that the BIPOC community often has to do in relationship to the white community. When they go into a white job, they have to meet white standards so that they can keep their job due to biases and prejudices that if you speak in Ebonics, you're ignorant or whatever that is. It shows up in a lot. Oh, you're Indian, I don't like your accent, or bias shows up in a lot of different ways. But there's a quality with neurodivergence where you also mask at a job, and you're masking so that you can fit into a brain system that you don't fit into. You may say strange things. You may embarrass yourself pretty consistently. You may do things that are not socially normal or say things that are not, it's like I would imagine that a lot of people throughout my life have been like, she does not understand social rules. Correct. You nailed it. No, I don't. I don't understand the social rules. And it's really exhausting. So many, just like you have a high incidence of suicidal ideation in the trans community, you have a high incidence of suicidal ideation in the neurodivergent community and a high incidence of depression because you get neurodivergent fatigue. Masking out in the world so that you fit in, so that you're not doing weird things with your hands, so that you're not closing your eyes when you get overwhelmed, so that you're not doing the things that help you to regulate your nervous system, which is already at a really high high in the sky point, they typically are very high anxiety people because they're receiving so much, you know? So there is a quiz you can take if you're interested in neurodivergence. I digress because this topic, like a neurodivergent, has become my latest obsession to study. It's been spirituality for a long time, and then it's like, okay, my cup is fully, like, people still want to tell me, like, read the spiritual book. It's like, nope, next topic. Like, I've studied it for decades, and so now I'm really interested in neurodivergence because I really identify it with it. But one of the qualities is really high anxiety, high potentiality for depression. So these are things that I work on. My happiness becomes my highest priority. I constantly work on what will cause Heather to be happy. So being balanced in the way I eat, maybe drinking alcohol sometimes, but not all the time, getting high sometimes, but not all the time. Well, maybe a little bit all the time. Hold on, Heather, let's back it up. But like, maybe like just not being imbalanced. I exercise in the morning. I do yoga. I do sit-ups. I do push-ups. I eat well. I eat organic foods. I eat pure. I cook for myself all the time. I very rarely eat out because I want to eat organic whole foods that I put love into and that I did an Ayurvedic chant over and that I know is a medicine to my temple. And so I do a lot of things in the physical world and the mental world and the emotional world and the spiritual world to maintain my layers of joy. But I'm also doing things to help with anxiety. So I think a lot more people are neurodivergent because it's a spread. It's a spread, everybody. You just spread it on that bread in circles. It just goes round and round. There's a lot there. There's a lot there. And in that spread, and in everyone having a different way in which their brain distinctly works, I have found it's better for me to close my eyes, hold my heart, breathe deep before I go into a grocery store. When I get out of the grocery store and put the groceries in my car, to close my eyes, kind of hold my heart or stem with my hands and breathe and just relax from all the energy of all the people and all the thoughts and all the feelings and all the spiritual divergence and all the judgments and I express it as being loud. It's loud every time I go somewhere and people are there. It's loud. It's loud because I hear in realms and realms and realms, and it's like, whoosh. So, I'm also able to super hyper focus because of my neurodivergence because I've well practiced throughout my life shutting out the loud. But I do need, sensory deprivation would be great every day of my life. I do need some layer of being alone, literally alone. Like I thrive when I take a car trip because nothing requires my attention. I love it so much. I mowed a lot. You can take a test called ASPIE, ASPIE. ASPIE.com has several quizzes. If you think you may be on the spectrum, I follow Orion Kelly, that autistic mom. There's an autistic mom on there that is, I think her name is Taylor. She's really brilliant. She gives she'll give you like 25 traits of autistic people. And I'm just like, yes, yes, Heather, yes. Heather relates to that a bunch. But this video isn't really about autism. It's just my current interest, so it's hard to stop talking about it like an autistic person. Anyhow, back to autism. It's really about understanding the spread. Life is a spread. And we can, because we have free will, say anything we want about another person. There's that dumb Karen white lady poo-poo on her party. She's not cool. She doesn't have any color in her skin. She doesn't have any melatonin. It gets stuck. Melanin. God, my brain gets stuck in loops sometimes. But it's like, you can judge someone for the color of their skin. You can judge them for the way they look. You can judge them because they're attractive. Like, attractive people deal with some of the most egregious, crappy behavior because people are like, you're so pretty, you think you're so special. And it's like, you don't know if they tried to commit suicide last night. You don't know anything. And I remind myself of this all the time. Heather, you don't know anything. I don't know anything about you. You don't know anything about me. And even if you think you know me, you don't know enough because you haven't been with me in every lifetime. So when we honor the spread and when we honor diversity and when we become inquisitive and we want to know, when we start to ask questions, we start to really get to enjoy life because we start to see what a wonderful garden we all live in. You can always subscribe to Rare Bird Medicine on YouTube, like and comment there. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Amun.